It is with such love and just this overflowing joy that I have today to get to introduce to everyone Rachel, beautiful Myrrhophore Rachel of Sacred Womb Oils, someone who has inspired my heart, reintroduced me to an ancient wisdom that I feel so many of us have once held and remembered before, and has been inspiring so many of us with these beautiful womb oils again. So, with so much love, Rachel, I just want to say thank you and welcome. And just again, thank you for letting me have this time to get to highlight you and the beauty that you are radiating.
Thank you so much, Becca. Thank you so much for giving the oils also their voice and for doing this interview and being a platform for all of it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, it is such an honor. I have so much joy every time we just get to exonerate and celebrate Mother Divine. And I feel the sacred womb oils are just a pinnacle of that. That is at the core essence exactly what they are doing. And I'd love to start. One of my favorite places to start is to just get to know you a little bit more. What has been your journey in this lifetime? I find it to be very fascinating that each of us, as we enter in to this lifetime, we all have our own little earth human journey that we go through that starts to unlock for us as we begin to awaken to these sacred paths. And I'd love to just know, what was your beginning in this lifetime like for you?
Well, I'm happy I cleared all of that. So it's easy to speak about it right now. It happened when I was in my mid 30s. Yeah. And then the dark night of the soul overcame me as so many other people. And it started actually with a lung disease. So Jeffrey had to carry me to my partner, Jeffrey, which I have for more than 30 years right now. So he had to carry me to the hospital actually because I couldn't breathe anymore. I was suffocated at my mid 30s, and then when I came out of the hospital, I also became blind for a year. So my nervous system was really overloaded, overwhelmed with fear, and I've never seen so many doctors in my entire lifetime for I think 4 years or so, to help me through the awakening process. But actually, nothing really helped until I learned how to meditate. So that was the only thing that really helped. And, that trigger event when I couldn't breathe and I couldn't see anymore happened because I had traumas from my youth that pushed
Put
back.
under the rug, right?
Yes. Thank you for helping. And also I was raised in a cult. So my entire family was raised in a cult. So my grandparents of both sides, my mother's side and my father's side, and my father and mother both were born into it too. So there are a lot of patterns and a lot of seals and a lot of blockages, to go through. And it was the Armageddon program, the shame, blame, the victim, victimizer, fear of being not good enough, restrictions towards the outside world, and also abuse. So I stopped with the cult when I was in beginning of my 30s, but before you really get out of it, can take years. If you can take somebody out of the war, you can take somebody out of the war, but can you take the war out of that person, right? So I had to do it slowly, and they wanted us to go 3 times a week to church in the beginning, and then I went 2 times, and then I went 1 time, and then I did once a month, and then slowly I built it off until I didn't came anymore. Wrote them a letter and I say, I don't come anymore, so I excommunicate myself. And then I had a problem because I was raised with Armageddon and the paradise, but now I didn't have any answers because my world was so small, they kept you very small. So what happens when we die? And that gave me so much fear. So yeah, I couldn't breathe, and yeah, my eyes stopped after a trigger event. And then the party started, actually, the dark night of the soul and the awakening process. That was the start of my awakening process and the biggest gift in my entire life. So yeah, in the end, now I look back on it, but it was, yeah, a few years very difficult. And, my search led to yoga. And I met a teacher, and she taught me for 7 years. And she gave me a program to do every day for 7 years long. So finally, within 7 years, I could do samadhi, samayama, and meditations. And yeah, when I think of it, she was really my saving angel at that moment, And yeah, she taught me everything about philosophy and Panchali, Alice Bailey. We filtered Alice Bailey, but we did also her, because I had so many questions about the universe, and she gave me it in a slow way. She said, the answers will come in time. Please, first get your nervous system in order. But I couldn't wait. I wanted to know what is in the universe, and I wanted to know it all because I was kept so small. And yeah, that led me to doing also, because my nervous system went to normal, and so the fear left my body. And then I did many studies like astrology and sound bowls, healing work, angelics, tuniforms, massages. And that led me also to teachings of Ashana Dean and teachings of Lisa Renee and your teachings, because I was looking for the Crystal River. And then I typed it in YouTube, and then I found you, and I thought, oh, wow, it feels like if she's the same as me, or I feel so much similarities. So I thought, wow, I need to follow her. And yeah, from there,
Oh my gosh, it is so moving and just so profound what your journey was. And, having been someone that also got raised in a very controlling religion, I can really sympathize to what it's like to feeling like you're being raised in a very small belief system or a small
Yeah.
world. It's almost kind of like the cult mentality shuts you off from
Yes.
everything else. And within that, it's just beautiful to feel. It's a bit traumatic in how it comes through, but beautiful to feel how your soul is like, no matter what you come in with, I'm going to help crack it open, and we will get you out of that. And so it's beautiful that you were able to listen, but it's so powerful for people to hear how extreme it was, that literally your entire world collapsed. So literally your breath and your sight
Yeah.
collapsed as well in that moment. And that must have been such an intense experience. I don't know if it would be all right to dive into that a little bit more, because I mean, it's like, that's not some small thing. To not be able to breathe is probably one of our biggest fears.
Yeah.
I don't, I know we shouldn't kind of giggle about this, but I do know that in so many past lives, that is one of the ways we have passed away, and it can trigger so much within there. And I know you were saying the doctors didn't have a whole lot that they could help you with. It's like they were doing probably experiments and all of these things to try to help figure it out. Can you share a little bit more about how the meditation was really kind of your saving grace, is what you were saying, that it's really what started to help you become able to see and to really breathe again?
Yeah, the doctors found out that I had COPD. I don't know if it's the same word in the US. It's a lung disease. And yeah, they said to me I had to have the medicines. Um, 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 you blood cells from other persons, and then for years. It's a very expensive medicine. And I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. So I went on a search. That's the thing that happened. And the thing that I could do was do the eye surgery, because from -8, I had a bad eyesight because I couldn't see my own path, right? So this is how I came in somehow, some way. But my eyesight at that moment of the trigger event went from -8 to -12. So I had to do something because I couldn't read and I couldn't wear glasses anymore. I couldn't do nothing. So that they could operate me on, but the lungs I need to do myself. So therefore I did some breath work. I didn't know anything that was spiritual at that point, but I did some breath work, just medical breath work. They call it buteyko in Europe. It's a Russian, and it helped me a lot. And then the meditation helped me a lot to calm the nervous system down, and it was quite a process. So they start with 5 minutes a day, and that was very long for me to learn how to meditate because I was so anxious about everything and my mind went everywhere. So it took me 5 minutes a day for, I think, 6 months or so. I had to build it up very slowly, but I had to be consistent. And from that point forward, I could slowly build it up, and I did the pranayamas, and yeah, it really calmed me down. And also that I had somebody who could hear me, right? That I wasn't crazy, because sometimes I had visions or weird dreams. I thought that they were weird, but later on they ain't weird. But yeah, and somebody was listening to me and knowing what that was, that helped me, that I wasn't crazy, right? So yeah, and the meditation really helped calm down the nervous system. So, and this is why I embarked that training for 7 years. That's a long period of time, and my ego was often in between it, that I didn't want to go anymore, and I was done with it, and and then my higher self said, no, 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 you go. And then I was happy, and I had a new initiation, and went to a new level inside, yeah, with the initiation, and mystical experiences happened after doing the meditation. So it really helped me building up to remember who I truly am, actually. So yeah.
Oh, that is so perfectly said, because I think so many on the path, and you even hinted to it earlier, that it was like in the beginning, it was like, no, I just want all the knowledge. Like right now, just give me all the answers. I want
Yeah.
this all, to be understood. And you are so perfectly sharing that it's not about racing through something. Sometimes it's 5 minutes in the very beginning, and that when we honor the slow process, even when our ego or our mind comes in that says, I want to stop it, I'm done, I'm good, I'm fine.
Yeah.
We've all been there. We've all done that. And I think that's so beautiful, because that's one of the biggest messages the Guardians bring over and over is just slow down, simplicity. It'll come, it'll awaken. And that is just, it's so amazing to see the high level of transmissions and the wisdom codes that you're bringing forward. And to be able to have that sense where others can recognize this didn't happen, like you didn't come out of the womb with this,
Nope.
right? We have to work to at being our greatness. Oh,
Yeah.
really moving through that. That is amazing. And I wanted to just give a little kind of like a plug or a recognition, because I know you mentioned many times, and you're mentioning some of the yogas that you're doing, but one that you've mentioned many times personally is the Raja Yoga.
Yeah.
And within the Raja Yoga, would you mind just kind of expanding a little bit? I know it's the mind yoga, and it's just such a beautiful way for people to recognize that settling the mind, settling the nervous system, many times literally starts to resolve almost everything our body's been holding.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does, and you need to train it. It doesn't come from one day to another. You really need to train it. So we start to train and to focus on the sound in our ears, and we call that nada. And that sound changes, and then and it can take a long period of time before you're experiencing that it's changing. And you need to focus on that. And some other yoga tradition do it in other ways, but this was our way and it helped me. And my mind was often in between it because I was trying too hard. And that was when my teacher said, you need to let go. You can't let go. You want to control it. You want to go there now, but that's not about it. You need to let it go. So yeah, that was the longest process of everything, to learn how to let go, to really open up the mind. And then, I often speak about it in my teaching, to anchor in those the soul vibrations, and you feel them in your entire body at some point, and you can play with it, and it's so beautiful, and you expand. But before you have that experience, you start at the beginning, and that is listening to the sound in your ears. So, and it can take a long period of time, but it were all different processes. So you learned from listening to nada, you learned kriyas, you learned the pranayama, but we do the breath differently from above. We believe in the Shiva and Shakti breath. So we close everything down and then we start playing with the energy in our body. And that's different than breathing. So it was a different technique, actually. I love all techniques, but this was the technique that I learned. And and suddenly one day after 5 years, I went into samadhi. But it was a training of 5 years and I didn't know what was happening. And I still, the first time is so beautiful. The first time when you get into it, because it's whoa. But actually it isn't, because you ain't there anymore. So you didn't know exactly what happened, but somehow you do. But it was a beautiful experience. And and the samayama is something that I practice every day, to focus on one point to heal the body. Yeah. But then I still needed, when I was done with the training, I still needed some seal removal on another level, right? To quicken the process. Of course, I would have come there by meditating every day, but it quickened it, the seal removal. So because I really needed to do that too, because there were still programs inside of me from before. So yeah.
Yeah. And it's so beautiful to be giving such a highlight to the variations of breath, the different types of breath work. This is something that I feel is a science that we have really forgotten as well. And so
Yeah.
it's so beautiful to have that highlighted as well, because I don't feel there's one correct breath. I feel like moving the breath in different ways is kind of like changing up the formula for different purposes in the way that we can work with it. And this is so, so powerful to recognize that, yes, it is so intricate into healing traumas, but also besides healing the nervous system, it is how we start to awaken those nadis and those energies that open us into, like for you, the experience of the samadhi, which is so beautiful. Oh,
Yeah.
I love that. So, as you got to really experience, I know you started to reach these states of samadhi within your meditative state, and as you were saying, you've hinted at that you were having visions, that you were having dreams that were very unique. And I want to also just say it is amazing. We all need someone in our reality that helps us not feel crazy
Yeah.
when these things are happening, because for the most part, the Maya, or the world around us, constantly wants to keep us into a box.
Yeah.
And I think, in some ways, that's what the cult religions are for, is to just keep us shut down and in a box. And so, in order to really break free from that, it is a sense of being different. And your paths, you were saying, started to lead you to all kinds of amazing things, massage and sound bowls and all of these different things. And I want to just kind of start to move into at what point in this journey, obviously you have these beautiful oils all around you. Did the nudge or the call of the oil start to whisper to you in this lifetime? What was that initiation or your first introduction to these beautiful oils?
Wow, that was truly beautiful because one of my best friends, who, who you all need because they believe you, what you were saying, and they experience their own thing. So she's really a very good friend of mine, and she invited me to go on a retreat in Glastonbury. And I have never heard anything about oils at all. But she said one of the things that we are going to do is to make an anointing oil. And I said, anointing oil, what's that? I know what anointing is. I've read it in the Bible, but making an oil and how do you do this? And it was really, I was really interested in it, but I've never done it. So, and then she said, I need to go to a store. It's named Star Child in Glastonbury, because I need to buy the oils for the initiation. So I said, okay, I'll wait in the car because I know nothing about oil. So I wait here and you go grab your thing. And then we did the retreat in the Divine Goddess House in Glastonbury. It was so beautiful. And there we made the first essential oil, anointing oil actually. And that process was a Hebrew process connected to Mary Magdalene, Yeshua, and it was actually the biblical oil from Exodus 30, which, excuse me, which is in the Bible too. So I was a little bit anxious about that, but yeah, I really loved it. It was with cinnamon and cassia and myrrh and olive oil and a lot of other oils in it. And I experienced that when I did it, I felt wobbly, shaken, or during the retreat while making the oil, and suddenly I had flashes of previous lifetimes, and I thought, what's happening with me? So I saw myself standing in biblical times. I saw myself making oils in Egypt with a jar of stone and wine and herbs in it, and I thought, huh, what's this? And suddenly I was in Greece in a temple working with oil and a druid, and I thought, how is this even possible? So I was really not focused anymore, but I loved the smell of the oil, and then I anointed myself with it, and we did mantras. Aramaic mantras. It was a retreat of Anna Otero, so she's a Myrrhophore too. So I followed a lot of lessons over there, and yeah, it was so beautiful, and it gave me so many memories. So I opened up, and suddenly one of the high priestesses in that retreat came to me, and she said, "Did you know that you have been a Myrrhophore for many lifetimes?" And I was thinking, how can you know this? I just experienced this in my own head, how can you know this? And then she said, the golden beings, seraphines, are standing behind you. And I was wondering, I was always working with them, and I honestly thought, how can you possibly know this? So this is why I believed her immediately. And she said, your guides are saying to me, or these beings are saying to me, that you need to read 4 books. So it was Felicity Warner and Proctatio, some more Myrrhophores, right? And I thought, okay, let's read those books. And she said, you will write a book for yourself. I can see it. You will write your own book, and you will do a lot with the oils. I didn't know where she was speaking about at that period of time. So yeah, it was really, really beautiful. And later on, Amber invited me, my friend, invited me also to go to Cyprus. And she said, let's do some grit work over there. And after we'd done some grit work, we went to Aphrodite Beach. and I felt for a swim. And I saw a rock, and they call it Aphrodite rock. So I swam over there, and I really felt that I needed to do this. And then suddenly I had an influx of information that I had to do something for some Venusian energy or Aphrodisiac energy, or and yeah, that was really beautiful. So I swam back to the shore, and the energy that what I heard was to hold a big rock against my womb and climb up to the cliff. And I've told you this story before, but it was really my first initiation. So and my friend said, well, let's do so. So grab that rock and let's go to the cliff. So this is why you have those friends, right? Who believe you immediately. And when I was standing up the cliff, I felt like singing the Crystal River and to the rock in the shore, in the sea. So I did, hold it against my womb, and I really felt, and I said also, I don't know what wants to be born out of me right now or in time. I don't know what it is, but I hear you, and I will keep hearing you, and I will meditate on this, because this feels like something wants to be born right now. So I threw the rock into the sea from the cliff, and then went to the temple of Aphrodite, touched the gemstone. I really felt that I must touch it, so I did, and it was so beautiful. And then I came home and saw the first teaching that you gave, the very first teaching, and that was about Sri Kalishwar and doing the womb mantra. And then I knew I was working with that womb in Cyprus, so I knew that was the answer. And you were taught us about the elementals, and all information came in, right? Everything came down, so I couldn't sleep. I was in overdrive again, because the information, it was too much. So Jeffrey said, go downstairs, start writing. Somebody said you will write a book, right? I said, yes, but start writing then. So at 2 o'clock, me typing for, I think, 2-3 weeks. I wasn't exhausted at all. And in the middle of the night, and then I had 40 or 50 pages ready. And then I strongly felt I need to send it over to you. And you know what happened from there, right?
Oh my gosh. Whoa, it's just so beautiful to hear just kind of like the progression of the energy and just your free fall of trust moving
Yeah.
into it. I think that's the one thing I think a lot of people forget is that free fall of trust. A lot of times there's this sense of seeing individuals such as yourself and going like, oh, well, you must have always known, and oh, it just must be how you came in, and that's just who you are, and I don't know who I am. And really, if people took the time and just the stillness within to recognize that even the great sages in the very beginning came in with the need to have that awakening moment in the lifetime, and so it's just beautiful to feel how you not only listened, but you had this beautiful support around you, especially your amazing Jeffrey, that has been that guide that keeps saying, then go do it.
Yeah.
That just keeps creating these spaces for you to support this energy is super beautiful. And as you got into just really starting to be with them, obviously writing the first book that you did would have been the first powerful initiation that you had within there. One of the things I want to pause with for a moment is to describe for individuals what is a Myrrhophore. What is a Myrrhophore in the tradition, in kind of like what this title is. If you wouldn't mind just maybe sharing that for those who maybe have never even heard that term before.
Yeah, of course. Um, in England, they say Myrrhophore,
My,
and yeah, and you can also say Myrrhophore because it's about myrrh. So I prefer the word Myrrhophore, but everybody needs to do it in their own way. They they are helping with the process how to helping the dead to the afterlife. So they are midwives actually. And that is one of the things that they are doing. And they have been trained for that, how to do that, and work with oils, work with herbs, work with sound tones, frequency, dance, and it is an oral tradition given from mother to daughter or high priest to student, and it's you need to be in contact with the higher self, right? Otherwise, you can never do this. So they know everything about the esoterical body. And what I believe is, of course, there are a lot of Myrrhophores, and it is growing to helping people, to helping the dead going to the afterlife, to setting Bordeaux for them, and to help them with the chakras, to align the chakras in the right way, to help the dying process, to help them with the pain, and to be in service of the people who are dying. But for me, how I perceived it is to help the living. To help the living in the here and now, because if you know what is going on, like I didn't knew what was going on when I was in a religion, right? But if you are being trained how to get in contact with the higher self, and how the personality works, and how the archetypes of the planet works, and how they want to learn you so many things, then if you know that, then you know how to die right yourself. So you don't need a Myrrhophore at all. So this is where the oils come in for me. So, and this is what they are telling to me in this time, how to work with oils to rise above the personality. And this is how I perceive being a Myrrhophore in this time.
And you're speaking of a topic that really touches my heart. I really feel, learning how to die right helps us learn how to live right, and vice versa. And within this, the more that we can actually move through the energies that may be trapped or stored within our own system, to lighten that energy, to begin to have that calm nervous system within, that is
Yes,
going to be 100%, like you're saying. If you can live right now, it's already going to be something that is going to support having safe passage at the end
yeah,
of life. And I can say one of the number one things that I feel people reach out to me for and comment about is the statement of, I want to learn how to die right because I'm not doing this loop again. The idea
that's
of the
what I mean.
soul not being trapped, and to have the freedom to choose how you want to come back in service, but not feel as though it wasn't something that was a choice. Yeah, that
Exactly.
is amazing. Now, one of the things that I know you uh, have taken us through so many incredible activations with the oils, such a blessing that you have brought to the Flame Holders group and the temple space there, where we get to work with the Venusian energy, that it's primarily the vibration of Venus and the cycle of Venus moving through the true sky that we follow as far as working with the elements and the activations of the oils. And would you want to touch in? I know you were talking about being the stone of Aphrodite and the beach that you had that activation, but what has called your heart to really connect it, and what level has it called to you to be connected to Venus as well as this goddess energy that is pouring through it?
I get to understand Venus better and better while I was working with the oils, because she was a riddle to me in the beginning. But I had one of the big initiations from Raja Yoga. It was a very big initiation while I was speaking with the planet Venus itself. I was floating above her, and I was invited to go into her temples in one of my initiations, and I will never forget that. It was so profound and so special, and she told me that she wants to radiate her intelligence, her harmonic frequencies upon the earth, because the earth is connected to her. You know, it's a part of her lower self, and she's the higher self or the causal body, or they are they are working together in a very special way. So and while I was receiving that, I never forgot it. So I wrote down that mystical experience that I had with Venus. But this happened all before I even know about oils. So I
Yes.
had that relationship with Venus already. And later on, I hear her telling me, well, it was me guiding you towards the oils. And especially when I was at Aphrodite Beach, it was me. So I know she receives all the rays from our sun, and she translates it into harmony and then brings it to our higher self, right? But are you willing to listen? Are you willing to hear her? And this is where she comes in with the oils. And she was asking, I want to give some big transmissions, but it is difficult for me to come through that thick layer, to come the thick layer that the moon holds, right? She needs to go through there. And this was all in my dream. So I didn't know anything. So she said, these are very thick layers. So I want to come upon and give my codes and work with the morphogenetic field, but it's difficult. So we need to do more things to get through the higher self of mankind, actually. So this is the relationship that I have with her. And more often when I meditate on her. When I go into the core of the earth, I go in her core, right? So this is how I do it. And this is the relationship that I have with her. So
Beautiful. And that would be a relationship that you would have for probably many, many lifetimes of working with these oils. And, just because that's such a unique and it's such a beautiful relationship that you have with that, Ray, that, I wanted to highlight that because it's maybe an invitation to those that might want to even connect to that higher octave and maybe transcend, as you're saying that she was pointing out the thick layer that the moon creates. I think we can all agree that that is definitely a thick layer that gets created in our consciousness, our subconscious, our emotions, the way that we get kind of caught up in the dramas of this reality and all the generations of that. So, this is again being a gift to us that these womb oils can help us even break past the realms of the astral field that are binding us. And I just all of it is just so beautiful and it harmonizes. And you had mentioned, as these energies were guiding you, it's just I love it because it's like I feel like we can all kind of have our beautiful stories. That's why I like to highlight them. And I felt the same way when I first met you. It was just this feeling of like, I know you. This sense of like, oh, there's my sister.
yeah,
And this beautiful gift that I felt such an honor to be able to hold a field or a container in any way, support these energies coming through and getting to see the way that it is now really its own living essence, that you've allowed it to come through. And within this, the harmony I wanted to touch on because you were saying one of the key things that really kind of lit up your connection aside from the Crystal River prayer, the activations and these kinds of the working with the Anuhazi language, was the connection to Sri Kalishwar and the womb chakra. And I think it's so beautiful because it's like the works of the womb chakra. Truly, I have so much love and veneration for Sri Kalishwar for dedicating his entire lifetime to venerating Mother Divine and bringing these technologies back for us. And it was Mother Mary that led me to him. And it was so beautiful because even hearing in your journey within there and going like, yes, I really feel it's kind of these same energies that have guided that. Oh,
I always have two, one of Mother Mary and one of Sri Kalishwar. I don't know, yeah. So here, always in front of me. So it's the energy where I work with too. Yeah,
oh
it's
my
always
God.
here guiding me. Yeah, for every
I
teaching.
Didn't know you have those there. Mine are literally, it's Sri Kalishwar and Mother Mary hanging on the wall right here.
Yeah.
Um, so there's such a love I feel for, in my journey of literally feeling that all I want to do is bring veneration, glory, love, devotion to Mother Divine in all her forms, in how she wants to radiate and move through, and even the connection of Vile Sama as this pours through. And so it's so beautiful because you touched on how you had even been doing the meditations before, but it was really doing some of the seals and implants clearing, some of the
Yes.
other mantras and activations. And I will tell you, the moment that I clicked into the womb chakra work, it felt like the missing piece to go along with all of the Anuhazi activations, all of the ascension mechanics activations, and that one without the other is good, but together, oh my
Yeah.
gosh. And you have now incorporated all of that. And so, in every womb oil that you guide us through into creating, now it's infused not only with our first these languages that are within there, but the very tones of creation that literally are constantly peeling the layers away so that we can have that safe passage at the end of life. So, I wanted to just touch on maybe a couple more things because this is just like I could probably go on and on. I just have such a love for this. Is, one of the beautiful ways in which you present and you share these womb oils is really honoring them as beings.
Yeah.
And this, part of why I was mentioning Sri Kalishwar, because he did bring to us a really in-depth way of activating the elementals and becoming consciously connected to the elementals and recognizing them as angels, as beings. And so when you work with the oils, each oil being its own character, its own being, its own essence, and its own library, what does that transmission come through like for you, especially maybe if you wanted to talk about myrrh, or sorry, actually, maybe the myrtle, the gatekeeper.
Yeah. I really feel, a lot of happens when I dream. So they gave me the transmission, and then I wake up, and then I suddenly being guided by opening my laptop, seeing a new teaching, or reading a book, falling on the right page, or this is how they guide me, but also in with influxes of information. That was your question, right? How they guide me? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, how you
Yeah.
connect with them. Yeah.
Yeah. So they asked me to trust them. And that was very difficult in the beginning because I was very, there was a group relying on me, giving the next teaching with the next Venus transit, right? So it was difficult to let let go of the control. Like I had to learn how to let go when I need to hear nada, right? Because I was trying too hard. So I had to get that out of the way. I had to stop trying too hard and start trusting that even if it is a day before I need to give the teaching, that can be the day that they want to give me the transmission, or the whales want to give me the right transmission. So, for instance, Myrtle, is really a gatekeeper, and it helps you to protect you, to protect your energy, and it reach your energy field. So I work also a lot with myrtle in every oil. It's very important. Otherwise, I don't even make an oil if there isn't a gatekeeper in it. It always needs to be. It always needs to be in it, and this helped me trust oils, that they are always protecting me, that they're always guiding me, that they're always giving me the right information. And yeah, myrtle was for me the most important oil to even start the Venusian womb oils. Really, yeah. and yeah, they are guiding me in many different ways, but especially to dream work. And I learned how to do samayama and focus on that specific oil, and then all information drips down during the day, and then I feel guided. And when I open my eyes, I take my phone, I speak in the guided meditation or whatever information that comes in, and then suddenly, yeah, they show me how to work with the ankh, they show me how to work with music, they say what they want, that teaching, it takes a lot of days, but yeah, it's different every time, and I need to trust it. I need to trust the process, and that is what they are asking from me. Trust us. And this is actually what I'm trying to teach. Every teaching, trust the oils, start journaling, and because it's actually that quiet voice in your head that you hear when somebody calls you, right? You hear that person calling already because you was thinking about that person 5 minutes before, and then suddenly that person is calling you. Well, it's the same process with the oils, and this is how they guide me, right? So I needed to trust that inner voice that was guiding, channeling, or however you want to name it, but I feel it like guiding. So
Beautiful. And that's, just such a beautiful reminder for all of us because, again, I think, in the society that we live in now, we're looking for things that are much more solid, that are much
yeah,
more, logical, proven, or like, oh, well, this is exactly how it works. And so now we get to recognize in a beautiful way that it is about going back into the subtle energies, the subtle listening, the subtle trusting of these beings, that just because we are seeing it as an oil, it's not something that's just a material. It's as alive as we are. It's as conscious as we are. They are literally a race line of beings that are just holding a different body in a different form. And they are part of our family. They are part of our library and the remembrance that many of us are looking for within this lifetime to assist us. So I just wanted to highlight that because I feel like you are such a beautiful example of really trusting something that speaks so subtly, but
yeah,
yet carries such a profound wisdom within, for sure. So within this, I just feel like, this is definitely, hopefully, really inspiring people to at least be curious about these oils. Now, I did want to touch on one key thing within here that I think is very important, and that is that, when we're talking about these sacred womb oils,
yeah,
we are not talking about just aromatherapy or
no,
perfumes because it's like having done massage and body work in the past, I recognize I've used oils in a completely different way, raindrop therapies and these different kinds of things. And this is different, isn't it?
yeah, it's entirely different. It's not a synthetic perfume. It's just like you said. It's a spirit that is working with you, and that is so important to get to know. Yes, there is a perfect sense in the oil, and we are connected with our brains. Our brains are wired to smells and memories and connect with it, but you can actually wear the wrong perfume on a day and opening up your esoterical body for negative energies, although you like the smell, right? And so it's so different. It can lower down your frequency, and this is always synthetic perfume, but and with aromatherapy, it is all about healing work on the physical body. And of course, the oils are the womb oils are working also a little bit like that, but it's slightly different because the womb oils want to work with the higher self, and that is actually the way in. So they are working together with your guides, and they are incarnated with those special Venusian codes, because I believe flowers and the codes within flowers are Venusian, a lot of them actually. And they came in to work with the personality, to work with the higher self, and the guardians or your guides or your higher self is actually so happy working with an essential oil because it incarnated into form upon your body, and your guardian cannot incarnate into form to contact you, right? So they are working together with the oils in alignment to help you listen to your higher self, listen to your dreams, to open yourself up, to do meditation, to, yeah, they are helping you with so many beautiful things. So, yeah, womb oils or sacred oils or anointing oils or however you want to call it is definitely not the same as perfume.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also not the same as aromatherapy, although I love aromatherapy, but that's more on healing the physical body. And we are speaking about the higher dimensional planes that we want to work with. So,
Yeah. Such a great point, because it definitely isn't, it's not just to smell pretty. And
no,
it's definitely not just
actually
to,
not.
yeah. So within this, I wanted to just kind of speak to everybody listening and, you know, open up the invitation. If somebody wanted to start working with the womb oils, is this a complicated process? Is this something that they have to get like initiated? It's going to take a whole journey in their life, or is this something that they can integrate and that it's actually really simple and easy to make a part of their life?
Well, it depends on what you want to do. There are so many Myrrhophores that chose to just create one oil a month, for instance, with a different theme. I didn't choose that. I choose a program, but you are always free to decide, no, I just want to make one oil, or I want to make the 5 elemental oils, or I want to follow the entire program during the year, to celebrate every transit that Venus makes. So it depends on what you want. And they are asking to buy the essential oils. They are asking to buy a jar, and that's it. To buy some incense to clean it, and that's it. It's not a difficult journey. The only thing that you need to do is to journal, try to journal, and try to be open to what they want to tell you, right? That small hint, and that is what they truly are asking. And yeah, in this way, we try to work with a team every time Venus makes a transit, a personal team, a team of the archetypes of the zodiacal signs, or a team of the planets, or it's always, like Gemini, it's all about thought forms, right? So then we are working with the thought forms, or Taurus, it's about not I possess, but it's how can we let go, right? So it's every time a different team, and then we journal about it. So if you are open to that, then it's not a different process at all. It's such a beautiful process because it gives you so many insights into yourself, and and you can meditate on that, and you can work with oil. And I always say to people who are giving ceremonies, for instance, they forgot, most of them, let's say you do a cacao ceremony or something, most of them forgot that it's so beautiful to set an intention with oils first before going to the ceremony, or create an oil together. And this is what the oils want, and this is what the oils are asking right now. Create oils in groups in your own way. So the person that did your retreat goes home, has a smell, and it's not that person is not going home without the smell and forgot about your retreat within 2 days. No, it still holds the smell for weeks after, and journal about it. And the message that you want to give on that retreat, when you're giving that retreat, sticks with that person because of the oil, because the oil is sticky. So it wants to stay with you. So, and So this is what the oils really want. And even if you don't give retreats, or if you just want to work with it and you are very interested about it, it only takes to buy myrtle, myrrh, and yeah, what is it? A rose oil, for instance, if we work with that, and a jar and some incense. That's it. And trust and believe that they are speaking to you and they are guiding you and they are helping you growing to the next level and trying to help your nervous system and grow above your personality. This is actually what they are doing. So, yeah, maybe a little too long explanation, but
It's perfect. I just want people to be able to hear, that it's like, this is something that I feel like everybody can add to a part of their life, and that it's not untouchable, it's not unreachable, it's not something that will, you know, change or take over anything else. In fact, it integrates so beautifully. The oils really are asking to be a part of our life again in each of our own unique journey. So, like you're saying, no matter what maybe you are doing in your life, you can add this and it enhances exactly what you're doing, as well as bringing that higher connection to your guardians and guides. So, I just wanted to just invite you, if you had a message for those listening, something that you really wanted them to remember, or that the oils wanted to share with them, what would that message be?
listen to the subtle voice inside of yourself. This is the only way for them to come in. If you don't start to trust, if you don't find people surrounding you that believe what you are saying, or if you don't even trust those thought forms that you have that came in, right? Like the subtle hints of information that come in. Start relying on that. Start trusting that inner voice inside of you. And this is truly what the oils want, because this is the only way that the higher self can communicate with you. And that's the only way in for the higher self and for the causal body. And to think from soul level, if you can do that, then you can grow into this. And this is the point that this is exactly the end goal of the oils. If you can do this 24/7, trust that inner guidance, trust that voice, then you don't even need the oils. But that's almost impossible, right? But yeah, that's the message of the oils. Start trusting your higher self, and this is the only thing. They want to be the bridge between your soul and your personality, or your thought forms. They're bridging it. And that is exactly what my last name is. I will not pronounce it, but my last name means bridge. So for the for the higher energies. So and this is what the oils also want, to be the bridge for the higher self, the personality and the intellectual mind, to bring it into sattva, everything, to calm down the nervous system, to trust your higher self. And this is their message. And that starts with journaling, smelling, trusting, surrendering, yeah, and listening to the guides. So
Beautiful. And I want to just say thank you to you for trusting and listening. And one of the things that I hear you say many times is that the oils are asking. The oils are asking. And one of the things that they have asked of you is to share their story, share their wisdom. And you have done that so graciously. I just want to let everyone know that Rachel has been so gracious and kind to be offering these activations to the flame holders, but that through these are all available as a free teaching. on a beautiful course. So if you are interested in diving into the womb oils, you can see the link below. There is a course that you can already start to get activated through. I think there's already about 8 months of activations in there.
Yeah.
I think it's quite a few activations within there, as well as PDFs, as well as walkthroughs through these processes so that you can have your own sacred journey. And this is one offering that Rachel has already been birthing and gifting through the direction and through the guidance of the womb oils. And Rachel, I know since then you've already now been creating your website. You have a newsletter you're about to launch if people want to follow along and get regular updates on this information. Would you share how can people get a hold of you directly, maybe work with you, maybe even find out more about your website and your newsletters?
Yeah, of course. Within every teaching on my YouTube channel or on my website, you can always contact me. There's my email address, and you can always, yeah, contact with me if you have special ideas or for that. But I also, in time, I will give also more teachings of new insights and information, and they are nudging me all a little bit. So, but I want to make it out there for the public. That was one of the missions that I had to do, and the investment that you need to do is not in buying this course, but the investment that you need to do is in yourself. And buying the essential oils, of course, and the bottles, that's an investment already. But yeah, you can, I have newsletters, so you can subscribe to the newsletters on the Instagram account, on the YouTube account. I have everywhere in Dutch, in English, so you can type it in and then you will receive more information as soon as I receive it, actually. Yeah.
Beautiful. So I definitely encourage everyone. I'm going to have the links in the description below for Rachel's Instagram, which has beautiful images. You take the oils with you wherever you go around the world. You travel
Yeah.
quite a bit. And so the blessings that you infuse them with in the land, such beautiful imagery within there. Please definitely subscribe to her YouTube channel. It is incredible. It has so much of a wealth of wisdom for these beautiful oils speaking through. And then, of course, you can get started right away on that free course that the oils have gifted and brought through. So, Rachel, with so much love, I want to say thank you so much for taking your time today to highlighting this and to just being a part of this journey with me in this lifetime. I just feel so honored to have you as my sister again in this lifetime.
Thank you so much for giving the oils the platform that they needed to break through. I couldn't have done this on my own. I couldn't have done this without Jeffrey. I couldn't have done this without my best friend, but also not without you and the teachings. And you are holding that platform and holding that information. So on behalf of the oils, thank you, thank you, thank you, Becca.
Thank you. With so much love, everyone, I hope you've enjoyed this conversation. I hope you've been inspired by the oils to reach out and make that relationship and that connection with them again. And with so much love and the love of Ilesa Ma, may you find the Divine Mother in your heart. Thank you for watching.